Welcome everybody to another Beretta Killings Pro Gaming and Reviews review, and this week we are going to do Ghost of Tsushima. Been a little bit delayed on it, that's because I had to change editing programs, but now that I've learned how to use it we can get stuck into him. Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch Studios is set in around about 1274 when the Mongols tried to invade Japan. You are in the shoes of Jin Sakai, whose uncle happens to own the entire army of Tsushima. After a series of events, Jin Sakai gets let loose on Tsushima by himself, and you are available to go around the place, take over outposts, engage in a bunch of side quests or miniature activities, take over outposts and just do a bunch of crazy shit as you learn the control scheme, which is very similar to an Assassin's Creed game. First and foremost, some of the side missions are pretty bland. It's just sneak through this or kill that, but you get used to those pretty quickly. It's war, what exactly do you expect? If you've seen any of my reviews before, you know that I don't really tend to go too overboard with the graphics or mention anything about the environments or anything like that, because I feel like it's just something that you need to experience for yourself. But Ghost of Tsushima is that rare exception that you need to know about it. Straight away when you get plunged into the atmosphere, the colour palette immediately grabs your attention, and what I mean by this is the sunsets, the particle effects, the flowers, the trees, everything in this game just seems to jump out at you straight away, and especially when you get to some of the different scenes in the main story or even in the side missions or the duels in the game, you realise just how pretty this game is. And even though it's not graphically the best thing that I've ever seen, the sunsets, everything just blew me away. And as you can tell by everybody all over Facebook at the moment, the photo mode is going insane. Straight away this game has this innate ability to make you want to explore, and the really cool thing about exploring is that there is absolutely no GPS. You've got nothing in the top corner to establish where you're going to go or anything like that. All you have is the wind. So if you swipe up on the control pad, a gust of wind will blow and it will lead you into the direction of what you've selected on your map to go to. What I loved about this from the word go was the fact that not only was the map massive, so it was really fun to explore, but using the wind to direct you everywhere gave you that extra little bit of space in the screen that was free, so you were able to utilise the environment to its absolute potential. I found this to be utterly fantastic, and also if you swiped on any of the other parts of the pad, down, left or right, you managed to do other actions as well, from bowing to even just playing a old school Japan flute. All of these little things just added a little bit of character to the game that just went on top of its absolutely brilliant gameplay. So Jin meets a whole bunch of people on his journey, and through those journeys most of them have tales. Every single time that you involve yourself in a tale, they usually have more than one mission where you get to know the characters a little bit, learn their backstories and so on and so forth. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory with a couple of little surprises dug in there. Some of the characters are memorable, some aren't, but as I said before, it's wartime, what exactly do you expect? But other than their storylines, there's many other reasons to do the missions in these games. There's 61 little side missions in the game, and a few of them aren't to do with the main characters, but all of them net you experience, charms, and other pretty cool things down the track. To fully utilise Jin's arsenal, you'll find that exploring is very important. A million little question marks, just like Assassin's Creed games, will start popping up everywhere. These activities are not only gorgeous most of the time, but absolutely beneficial. Everything can either get you more resolve, which is for your special moves, more charm capacity, so you can put more buffs on your character, weapon skins, so you can just go absolutely nuts with the style and control of your character and make them look exactly like you want. But the brilliant thing about this game is how Ghost of Tsushima has immersed you into the Japanese world by these activities, whether if it's cutting bamboo, following animals around the place, composing haikus, even just taking over the outposts or just jumping through the shrines like Assassin's Creed. Everything feels Japanesey. You feel like you're in the timeline, and it's just placed beautifully in the game. I don't really want to delve too deep into the music, but just know that it suits almost every single type of part of the game. Every time that you're in a big battle or anything like that, the music suits it. Duels, the music suits it. When you're just even going around the place, just riding on your horse, the music suits it. It just is typical for this game. It never grows old. It works well. Now we're up to the juicy bit, the gameplay. So the first thing I wanted to run over is that, as I said, it's very similar to an Assassin's Creed game. The way that you run around, attack, jump, all that kind of stuff. One really good thing of note is just how easy everything is to do. The only difference is that R2 is like your action button, which makes things kind of challenging sometimes, but you get used to it fairly quickly. Because it picks up all of your items, it also mounts your horse, so don't go pressing triangle or you'll slash your horse for no fucking reason. A welcome addition is things like grappling hooks and that, which make traversing systems so much easier. Everything feels like it's really fluent to do, whether it's not crawling under houses, crawling through houses, jumping to the second floors of things to be able to get a better vantage point. Everything feels really easy to do. And another welcome addition is the fact that whenever you walk to an edge, your character will not just walk off it. He won't just jump off it for no reason. He will only jump when you tell him to, which I think is fantastic because some of the later Assassin's Creed games didn't utilise this system well and made them quite frustrating when you're in sticky spots. Other than that, really, if you've played any kind of AC game, then yeah, you know exactly what you're in for in terms of the movement and the traversal. But when it comes to the fighting style, it's similar, but different. Square and triangle are both of your attack buttons, square being your normal attack and triangle being your guard breaker, but a cool addition to this game is its stances. As you go around the world and you defeat leaders, you unlock more stances, and every stance is suited for a different type of opponent. Whether or not it is the water stance, which is used for shields people, or it's the wind stance used for spearmen, or if it's the moon stance, which is used for the brutes or the bigger characters in the game. Every single stance can be swapped to on the fly, which makes, when you fight a bunch of people, just a little bit more strategic than an Assassin's Creed game, and incredibly fun. The Mongolian army, though, are brutal, and especially when you incorporate archers into the fray. Archers will yell in Mongolian "get down," I believe, which means that they're about to fire, which gives you an opportunity to dodge. But a lot of the time, you'll be outnumbered most of the encounters in the game. This means that you're going to get hit a lot, especially early game when you're trying to figure things out. You can use the resolve, which is the yellow moons which are above your health bar, to recover your health by pressing down on the D-pad. The only problem is, though, is that in the heat of the moment, this can be very hard to do, but it makes it pretty epic all the same. This resolve isn't just used for healing, it's also used for some of the special moves gained in the game, like the Blade of Wrath and so on and so forth. All of this is very cool later on in the game, and it can be a lifesaver, especially in the duels. Jin is a well-established samurai, and you can tell by any of his strikes in the game. Everything that he does just feels like there's no wasted movement. It's graceful, it's beautiful, and it's deadly. Another cool aspect to this game was the fact that you can do standoffs. So instead of just rushing in and fighting everybody or anything like that, you can actually challenge the Mongolians to a battle. If you challenge them, they have to stand there, in which you hold triangle and release it at the very last second or when they're attacking to counter them and kill them in one shot. This can be really good if you manage to get one of the big bad guys straight away so that you can erase them immediately and then just take out the rest one by one. But later on you also get upgrades so that you can kill more than one person in the standoff, so it can be incredibly useful for thinning the crowd. But as we said, Jin is a noble samurai. His aim throughout this game, though, is to become the ghost, and to become that, sometimes he has to make some questionable decisions. That's where the assassin's style thing comes into play. Obviously samurai aren't very good at this, and they weren't known for being stealthy or anything like that, so knowing just how weird he is at the start is pretty cool actually, and watching him get gradually better at becoming an assassin is awesome in the game, and I like the productivity and just how much they made him grow over the course of the game as an assassin. The actual stealth system itself is pretty basic. It's just click R3 to crouch, walk around, find hiding spots and all that kind of stuff. Occasionally come out and assassinate people. You can jump to assassinate people, and you can get chain assassinations later on, which make your life a little bit easier. This can be complemented by the use of ghost weapons as well, like smoke bombs and wind chimes to divert attention, and your two powerful bows that you can unlock in the game as well. All of these things complemented together make for a great system, because a lot of the time when you're in an outpost, you're not going to be able to take out everybody stealthily. You can't avoid a little fight sometimes. And the ghost weapons, mixed in with a whole bunch of things like bombs and kunai and all that kind of stuff, make for a fancy stylistic gameplay that every single scenario is slightly different. The only problem that I had with the combat system was that later on in the game you were almost invincible, especially if you went out and got some of the charms that were at shrines. It just felt like you couldn't be beaten. Now, as I said before, Jin is a samurai turning ghost. As he's making this transition to cold-hearted killer, He tends to dress up in different things. You can find different suits of armor, skins for your weapon, and all that kind of stuff. This is very, very diverse, surprisingly. There's about 50 different skins for your weapons just alone. There's also all of the different armors, which every time you upgrade them get better. You can also upgrade all of your swords. You can upgrade your small sword, which makes assassinations quicker. You can upgrade all your bows to do more damage. And you can also upgrade as well the capacity of all of your ghost weapons through the use of predator hides, which are bears, dogs, and boars, which are found around the area. Not only can you upgrade so many different things in the game, but you can also upgrade Jin himself. Through the use of skill points which you get from advancing through the game, you can put them into a series of trees to really create your own play style. There's a lot to choose from, and usually you can pick between anything like perfect parries, being able to do break falls, being able to add new additions to any of your stances, or just generally upgrading your ghost weapons so that kunai hit more people, for example, or your bombs have a larger radius. All of these can be incredibly beneficial, and you can really choose a style of the way that you play early on in the game. Are you going to be more combat focused, or are you going to be more stealth focused? The game does not punish you, and it makes it enjoyable along the way. And just to sneak it in there as well, the loading screens are insanely quick. For how big this game is, you're looking at every single time you die, you're back in the fray in about maybe 5 seconds, which I thought was absolutely incredible just for the sheer amount of shit in this game. There is a lot to this game. I could talk about it for ages, and I do not want to go for too long, but I did want to mention as well that with this fantastic game, its best by far and most fun aspect is the boss battles, or the duels in this game. And in the second island there is a bunch of duels there, and they are just absolutely fantastic, as I'm about to show you here. These are always put in really epic areas. The bosses themselves are actually quite hard. You have to time your attacks properly, you have to learn their systems, and it just feels like a proper duel. It feels like anybody could die at any moment, and that is just absolutely incredible. For anybody wondering about the trophy difficulty, it is not hard at all. Most of the things in the game can be completed on a single playthrough, and then when you're allowed to free roam at the end of the game, you can get a lot of the other things. The only kind of tedious things that you'll find are the collectible items in the game, but almost every collectibles and the upgrades can be found in every outpost in the game. And the Traveler's outfit that you get at the very start vibrates your controller whenever you're close to a collectible item, which makes things a hell of a lot easier for you in the long run. From everything that you see in this game, everything is just blended perfectly. It is so user friendly, and you feel like an absolute badass every single time you dispatch a group of enemies. I just cannot establish enough how fun this game is from start to finish. That tied in with its fast loading times, its sheer amount of stuff that you can do, and its crazy battle system is just fun from the word go. This game is nothing short of 10 out of 10 in BKG eyes. So for anybody who disagrees with me, please let me know why. Anybody that has played the game, tell me all about it. What did you think of it? Anybody who's got any awesome photos to show me as well, because the photo mode is so cool to play around with in this game. Share them on our page, do whatever you can. Let me know what you thought of the review, guys. I'm going to leave it there. This has been fantastic. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you guys later. This is Brett signing out.